thank you, Senator McCaskill, for your leadership and your passion and your vision on such an important issue. I really appreciate this committee hosting this hearing. It is very important that we examine the role and responsibility of law enforcement in combating the scourge of sexual violence on our college campuses. The fact that, according to one study, nearly 1 in 5 women in college will be victims of sexual assault or attempted assault during their undergraduate careers should shake the conscience of all of us, and it demands action. Too many young women's lives are being changed forever for us to accept this status quo. Earlier this Congress, Senator McCaskill and I, along with a bipartisan coalition of 10 senators ranging the political ideological spectrum, introduced the Campus Accountability and Safety Act, a bill that would finally hold colleges and universities accountable for facing this problem head-on aggressively, with the goal of making safety on campus a reality for American students and not just the empty promise that it is today. The bill was the result of exhaustive efforts listening to survivors and examining the shortcomings in the current college and university system. I want to thank both Chairman Whitehouse and Ranking Member Graham for their leadership and their support of that bill. Clearly, we in Congress must look at how law enforcement must improve to be part of the solution. First, in our comprehensive bill, we require every college and university in the country to have a memorandum of understanding with local law enforcement. It's shocking that this requirement doesn't yet exist. In these types of crimes, where physical evidence is crucial, time is precious, and we can't tolerate the hours or days or weeks of delay where jurisdictional arguments are being made. It's an area where Congress can act by passing important legislation that will serve to flip the current incentives for college and universities that would rather sweep these cases under the rug. Second, our ultimate goal should be that 100% of survivors on campus assault feel comfortable and confident reporting to law enforcement so that alleged assailants are legally held accountable through due process. This is a long-term goal that we have to strive for. But time and again, I've heard from far too many survivors of campus sexual assault that they have felt re-victimized by the process of trying to seek justice for the crime committed against them. This is an inescapable fact that we have to fix. The police should be the first responders when a crime this serious occurs, but in the vast majority of police departments have responded to reports with victim blaming and belittlement, and as a result, survivors have lost trust in law enforcement. Today, I'd like to provide the committee with some accounts of survivor experiences when they tried to report their rapes to police to shine a light on the shortcomings that must be addressed. But first, as Senator McCaskill did, I want to address the University of Virginia story in Rolling Stone that some may hold up as a reason not to believe survivors when they come forward. Clearly, we don't know the facts of what happened or what didn't happen in this case, but these facts have not changed. UVA has admitted that they have allowed students who have confessed to sexually assaulting another student to remain on campus. That is and remains shocking. More importantly, it has never been about this one school, and it is painfully clear that colleges across the country have a real problem in how they're handling or not handling cases of sexual assault on their campuses. I hope this story will not ultimately outshine the story of thousands of brave women and men telling their stories and holding the colleges and universities across the country accountable. And I hope it will not discourage other students from coming forward, because it is the students themselves all across the country who are demanding reform, and their voices are vital to the debate. And I refuse to let this one story become an excuse for Congress not to fix a broken system. Because I've met with these students and seen them bravely tell their painful stories, personal stories, so that other young women and men on campus will not have their own story to tell tomorrow. Young women in New York at Columbia, like Emma Sulkowicz, who was raped by a fellow student at Columbia University in 2012, reported her rape to the police in 2014. She described to a police detective how her assailant had pinned her arms down behind her head, pushed her legs up against her chest, penetrated her anally, choked her, and hit her across the face, despite her shouting and telling him no. The detective responded by telling Emma that the encounter was consensual because she had previous consensual sex with the individual. The officer repeatedly stated that the perpetrator just got a little weird that night, right? And told her that a defense attorney would rip her story apart. Anna was raped. Another woman, Anna, was raped at age 18, just 2 weeks into her freshman year at Hobart and William Smith College. When she filed formal criminal charges, the police sent the prosecutor a report filled with errors, which included, in particular, failing to identify major discrepancies in the statements given by 3 alleged perpetrators. An examination by a sexual assault nurse indicated that Anna had experienced blunt force trauma, and tests found sperm or semen in her vagina and rectum and on her underwear, but the police never acquired DNA samples from the alleged perpetrators. The district attorney never interviewed Anna, and he declined to bring charges just one day after the case was referred to him. Even in cases where survivors have felt supported by their interactions with police, they have been devastated by slipshod investigations, drawn-out court proceedings, and the refusal of prosecutors to take their cases. 4 out of every 5 rapes that are reported to the police are never prosecuted. Simply unacceptable. We must provide survivors of campus sexual assault with options for reporting to police that are beneficial to both law enforcement and survivors. This will encourage more survivors to come forward to pursue justice and ultimately lead more cooperative witnesses and better information to send to district attorneys to prosecute. The Ashland Police Department in Ashland, Oregon, has developed a model for investigating reports of sexual assault that strives to achieve these goals, called the You Have Options Program reporting. The department found that by using trauma-informed investigative techniques and allowing victims to provide as much or little information about the assault as they choose in a time frame that they feel comfortable, the department can actually increase reporting and collect better evidence. In fact, when I sat down with a woman who developed the program, she said she was able to convince her police department to do this because it was the tools that were necessary to catch recidivists, to catch multiple rapes by the same perpetrator. And so if they could convict these types of serial rapists, they were willing to try a different system. They found this system worked and that it was extremely effective. By using the You Have Options reporting program, the Ashland Police Department saw an increase in reporting of sexual assaults by 106% between 2010 and 2013. There's a critical role for law enforcement to play in combating sexual assault on campuses. By increasing an environment that encourages reporting of sexual assaults, police departments can bring these cases out of the shadows and hold more of the offenders accountable. I look forward to today's testimony and to identify areas where we can improve our criminal justice system and the way it responds to campus sexual assault. I look forward to continuing to push the reform of the way campuses handle campus sexual assault by passing our bill. Obviously, it's time to end the scourge of rape and sexual assault on American colleges and provide survivors the resources they need to recover and to hold these perpetrators accountable. Thank you again, Senator Whitehouse, for chairing today's hearing. I look forward to working with all my colleagues on this committee to help improve the situation. Thank you.